Hey Raider fans, Fred Roggin, the sports director of NBC Los Angeles, contacted me after I made this video accusing him of racism because he and a number of other media types, but particularly Roggin, have steadfastly avoided talking to me, even though Mark Davis, the Oakland Raider owner, asked me to submit a stadium plan for Coliseum City because he was frustrated at the NFL owners meeting at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco over, once again, Oakland, the city of Oakland, missing a deadline and nothing happening. And to be fair to the city of Oakland, a lot of that happened because, yeah, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf took her time putting together her own team. But the bottom line is we could have had a task force long before she did that. That was not the right way to go, but that's another conversation. Let me get back to Fred, because he contacted me out of the blue on instant message and then blocked me, thinking that was it and he was going to shut me up. He just contacted me to have his say, but didn't want me to respond back, right? Anyway, he chimes in with this, starts off by reading this, and he says, when you are officially a part of the negotiations with the city and the county, we would be interested in your perspective. Right. People with opinions call the show. When you're recognized by my male NFL sources, we will have you on as a guest. Race has never been a factor in our bookings. Yeah, right. And I'm fairly confident that none of the guests would ever bring up race as an issue. To be perfectly honest, it's insulting. Yes. We believe our audience deserves better than that. Well, I'm not concerned about your audience, Fred. And let me say something to Raider fans. This is the bottom line. Fred Roggin and others are only telling one half of the Coliseum City story. And I accuse Fred of being on the take for Floyd Kephart, the head of New City LLC, and not willing to tell the other side of the story. He sent me an email saying, hey, you know what? I will give me your number because I want to have you on, because it makes sense to have me on. I've been involved with Coliseum City more than anybody else has, going all the way back to 2009 when I was on the task force where it was introduced by Oakland Mayor Ron Dellums. The only other person that has longer tenure regarding Coliseum City is Steve Lowe, which was another person the media should talk to if they can get him to not talk about his environmental concerns and just focus on Coliseum City for a moment. Nothing. I'm not putting down his environmental issues at all. But I'm just talking about sticking to the point. Now, Fred could have simply acted like a journalist and said, let me, contact Mike Silver and confirm this. Let me see Twitter and confirm this. Okay, let me look at Zenny's background. Oh, he worked for 2 mayors of Oakland. He was on Dellum's task force. He made this video about Coliseum City in 2009. This guy knows something. Let me have him on the show, right? That's an easy thing to do. Instead, he tells me his NFL sources, who did he say? My NFL sources are not recognizing him. That's BS. I mean, here I am at and I sent him an email. I sent him a response with the link to this video too. Here I am at the NFL special meeting in Los Angeles, front row, ask a question of the commissioner, Eric Grubman, NFL executive vice president for business affairs, and this guy basically tries to act like I have no connection with the NFL whatsoever. And then he would say, and then he would get upset, all right, that I would say that he is being racist. And that's the problem. Some people, generally white to black, some people who are white think that racism, and this is a scholarly fact in terms of study, whites think that racism is one calling another a racial epithet. It's not treatment. Whereas blacks look at racism in terms of how they're treated. Someone walking by me who's, clutching their purse, or any other myriad number of examples that add up to the daily racism that African Americans have to deal with. But, we can't talk about it. BS. I talk about it, okay? Until it stops. If you don't want me to talk about it, then don't do it. Easy, simple equation to solve. That's it. Now, back to Roggin. Roggin, then I went on to explain to Roggin, I'm expressing what others say to me in the NFL. Sources should never be a gauge because you don't know their agendas, and you don't. I mean, he could be talking to somebody like Mark Gannis, who has his own agenda, or anyone else. But if you talk to Andy Dolich in his good moments will say, in his worst moments too, will say, hey, Zinni's been around, he knows a lot, put him on the show. That's Andy. Andy's not a straight shooter. But the bottom line is, when people say NFL sources, I think, yeah, right, that could be, the ball boy. Okay? You never know, not to put down ball boys. All right? And then he says, and I said, I was basically retouting what I've done. I've been involved with Coliseum City, my relationship with the mayor of Oakland, that I almost brought the Super Bowl to Oakland in 2000 and everything else. But that wasn't meaningful to him at all, even though I repeated that to him before, right? In an email, he says, you made your point and I made mine. I'm the sports director for NBC for 30 years. Oh, King Kong, I'm mighty. Yeah. I have never been accused of, what I read to you before. And I tell you, thanks for your interest. I'll tell this story Monday on the radio. He's not going to. Good luck to you. I hope things work out for you. And I said, look, it has. I'm not sinking money. I did this because Mark Davis asked me to do it. And not only that, I came up with a hell of a plan, folks. My personal magnum opus. I am really proud of what I did, and I want to share it. Hey, I had Piper Jaffray Investment Bankers give me a total of 2 hours of their time. If you think about time in terms of billable hours, actually more than that because they had to study it. So that's just 2 hours of talking to me. Conference calls. Actually, the conference call was 90 minutes. I take that back. Great calls. I have worked out the numbers and the financials, everything. Extreme detail, more than anyone else has done, save for one other example that wasn't even done by Kephart's group. I roll. I rock too. Now, the point back to Roggin. Roggin says, I've implied nothing. And I said that I've implied nothing. I have no idea what your relationship is with the NFL, even though I've shown him and proved it to him and everything. But see, that is a racist point of view. It's like they don't want to hear you. They want to judge you, but not hear you. Okay? And Fred, when you see this, that's a fact. And if you don't want to be thought of that way, change. Because a lot of people are not going to talk to you face to face. They're going to be nice to you because of your title or whatever they want from you, and then turn away and say something different about you behind your back. Now, it's not a matter of you're not being a nice guy, okay? It's a matter of making sure that you're telling the story straight and you're not leaving someone out for reasons that are not justified. And in this instance, they are not. And so anyone black looking at this would say, yeah, that looks racist. You want proof? Look at what Oakland Urban Space has written about Coliseum City in their document, black and white. Hey, they've got no one black involved. All the folks are white, and no one's made an issue about it. I'm paraphrasing, but it's right there in black and white. This is a huge issue. So here I am, put together this great proposal. Black guy who puts it out there. That should be secondary to my message about how this can work without using public money, this meaning Coliseum City. That should be secondary. But because you won't let me tell my story and I have to figure out why, it becomes primary, not secondary or tertiary. And that's your fault, friend, and the fault of others like you who claim to be in the media business, but really are just doing what Noam Chomsky talked about in Manufacturing Consent, which is precisely that. You're trying to manufacture consent. But thank God for social media, because with it, I won't let you.